Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to our penultimate session and the last panel before the price outlook. This is the Global Mung Beans Outlook panel discussion. We have stalwarts of the industry are here with us. It is going to be moderated by Global Pulses expert, Mr. Lalit Bangar, who was here with us also yesterday, and he's going to take this eminent panel right through. On the panel, we have Srinivas Boyapalli of Taragray Group, from Ibrafe Marcello Luders, Anand Chajed from Swiss Singapore Seed Private Limited, and from the Agri-Prio Group, we have Akhil Goyal. And completing the panel from Alpha Group Agrox, Dubai, we have Jahid Nagarwala. May I request, please take these seats.
Thank you, IPJ, once again. And I'm fortunate to really start the inning, first over, and even to the last over also. Thank you so much. I have eminent panelists. You can see that from respective geography and having vast knowledge of green Moong beans. Because of the India putting a ban on this product, it doesn't look like sexy, but anyway, they are all here to share their knowledge. I have Mr. Srinivas Boyapalli from Australia. He is the agribusiness professional, MBA, 15 years of experience in Australia. He was with Olam and now he's with Taragray, Canada. On my first left, Mr. Jahid Nagarwala, he's the director of Alpha Group. And Alpha Group, you know that they are one of the leading grassroots people, labor processors and exporter of African pulses, sesame and other products. And their operations, head office in Dubai and operations in Mozambique, Sudan, Tanzania, Togo and Benin. Then I have Mr. Anand Chajed. He is the Myanmar country head for Swiss Singapore. He is a qualified chartered accountant and Overseas Agro Association, OTA also. He is the vice president and he has 19 years of experience from different particular commodities and all. I have Mr. Marcelo Luders. He's already, we saw a great event just now. So he's from born in Rio Negro, Paraná. He is a president founder of Ibrafe Institute. He's a director of Corepar, which is his business since '94. And he is a specialist in Brazilian Commodity Exchange, consultant of Sectoral Chamber of Beans Production also. And then he's a founder of dry beans, sesame peanuts, and this thing. Then I have Mr. Akhil Goyal. He's from Agri-Prio Group. He's also processor of Moong, and he's a well-known face in India. And let's hear from them. First of all, maybe I'll just start. Does it work? Yeah, okay. So let me take a seat there.
Is it on? My name is Srinivas Boyapalli. I'm representing Australia here. I work for Taragray. As you can see the Australian numbers there, it was fairly consistent from last 2 years. We had a very bad year in 2019-20 because of the drought. This year is going to be the similar year like last year. We can see, I think we are expecting a crop of almost like 120 to 100, maybe 100 to 120,000 tons of crop, which is coming in April. That's for the numbers. I think you can see from there itself, nothing more to talk. Can you go to the next slide, sir? See, because Indian government has banned the mung beans, we have to find new ways, new markets. So Australia has found a new market in China and Vietnam, Indonesia and Philippines, those Southeast Asian countries mainly. From Australia, we export 80 to 90% of our mung bean crops into China. Through directly and through Vietnam. See, this year also is going to be the same. Recently, we have seen a phenomena where the mung bean, some of our earlier panelists have also pointed out the value-added products are coming from mung beans as well, from Burma. So from Australian mung beans, split mung beans we can call as mung dal, it's going into protein extraction, isolation plants in US. So US has emerged as our third or fourth largest importer of mung beans from Australia. What I will see from the pricing point of view, because of there is a lot of interest from China from last month onwards, prices have gone up in Australia. The growers have noticed it. They have increased their prices. But it all depending on the weather. Australia is coming out of El Nino conditions. We are now talking about La Nina, the opposite. What happened in December, we were expecting close to 150 to 200,000 tons, but we had a lot of rains in December and January, which is the sowing season. So most of our general areas like New South Wales, Queensland are lagging behind in the sowings, but we had very good rains in central Queensland, where we are expecting to cover the losses which was happened in those two states. So overall, I think we will pull the numbers from the last year. That's a brief numbers and presentation from Australian side. Thank you.
So as an alternate to India, you think China is going to continue to fulfill the gap which Australia is still feeling?
Definitely, sir. I think Chinese production itself is decreasing from last 5 years, if I see. 5 years ago, I think they were producing 700 to 800,000 tons. Now I think it's close to 300, 400,000 tons only. So China has to get some mung beans, but China has got different origins. So it's buying from many origins, and Australia is one of them. Australia, because of the clean and green energy image, with the size what China wanted, I think China will always be the buyer of Australian mung beans.
Thank you. We move on to now Africa. Oh, sorry, Myanmar. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mr. Anand.
Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anand Chajed. I am representing Swiss Singapore Myanmar operations. I'll talk about green mung bean from the Myanmar perspective. So I'll quickly take you through the slides. Mung bean is one of the important crops in Myanmar, particularly because of the nitrogen fixation property in Moong. Rice is the main staple food as well as the major crop in Myanmar. Myanmar exports a lot of rice, and farmers prefer to plant green mung beans before and after the rice crop, which gives them the nitrogen fixation in soil. So green mung, in a way, it improves soil fertility. Harvesting of mung is just 75 to 90 days crop, so it's preferred by the small farmers. Mung beans have nutritional benefits, very rich in vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. And green mung is not only better for health, also it's being used in various foods. Myanmar particularly, they have negligible consumption of green mungs, but mostly it is being used in sprouts and some vermicellis. That's all. Next slide.
Okay, before you go to the next slide, Mr. Shinas has to catch a flight at 7 o'clock. So I'm sorry he requested to leave a bit early. But as a trader, we already made his arrangement that he's got a receipt for shipment bill of lading. So he's got his luggage booked already. Now, onboard shipment bill of lading will be received once he will reach to the airport in time. So thank you, Mr. Srinivas. And meantime, I will receive your plaque on your behalf. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Srinivas. Yeah. Yeah, I will receive what to do now. He's to catch a flight. Yeah.
Yeah, moving on to the next slide. Here, I am just briefing you all on the varieties, main varieties of green mung that are being grown in Myanmar.
And Srinivas, you can collect your memento, or maybe, you would like to, you have some time, or how is it? You can collect from them, or you want to rush? Okay, fine, thank you. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
The key varieties of green mung that are grown in Myanmar, they are Pedi or Bagosheva, Anya Sheva, Khaya Sheva, Tongu Sheva, and Pakoku and Wakema. In Myanmar, depending on the market demand, farmers grow different varieties in different regions. But in a way, it's a round-the-year crop in Myanmar. So it's being grown all across the country nowadays. And because of the properties I mentioned, it's a preferred crop by farmers. So it's being grown all across. So we have availability of green mung throughout the year in different crops and different regions in Myanmar. The key export markets for green mung from Myanmar are mainly Southeast Asia, China and India being the two major markets for exports of green mung. But other than that, the Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, also are importing green mung. price of green Moong in Myanmar, it mainly depends on the demand from major import markets. So there were two recent factors which have really impacted the production of green Moong in Myanmar. One was the closing of borders because of COVID. So China adopted a zero COVID policy and they closed the borders with Myanmar. So that is the major trade route for the crops to China. But closing of the borders, they had a very bad impact on farmers. They could not sell their produce. Second was in early 2022, India decided to restrict the import of green Moongs. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Good.
Sir, we'd like to present this memento to Sri Nimas. He's about to leave, so thank you, sir, for being here. I do apologize to Lalit Bangar and sir.
No. Is assured that IPGA really take care for good quality. So now it is a SGS certificate or quality certificate is there now for our shipment. You can, should I? Okay. So shipment is on board with this certificate of quality, right? Okay. Sorry, Anantu, for the
Apologies.
interruption.
Thank you.
Thank you, IPGA.
Yeah, continuing further on the presentation. So price of green Moong in Myanmar is mainly dependent on the import demand in the destination markets. The two major markets being India and China. But both the markets, they had a change in policy. China, they closed the borders, as I mentioned. India also decided to to stop imports of green Moong beans from Myanmar because they had a good crop available locally. So these two things, they have prompted the farmers to move on to alternate crops rather than green Moong. So that has impacted the production. But last year, overall, green Moong bean prices have been in the range of like $675, $670 until $850. So this has been the price range for green Moong bean in the last year. Yeah, next slide. I have just given a few numbers for the last year's 2018 until this year. So we can see there is a marked increase in production year on year until the year 2021. And with the changes in policy from China, so 22 production was impacted, it went down. And again, this year, India has also stopped. So farmers are not sure whether they will be able to sell the produce being very negligibly consumed in Myanmar locally. So the production we are expecting this year, that 2023, the production will be around 450,000 tons, which will be lower than last year. So this is our expectation. And Moong, since it comes all around the year, so even during the year, if there is a change or revision in policy from any of the importers, it might spike or prompt the farmers to change the crop pattern. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
So Myanmar farmers have got this advantage of really quickly switching to new plantation, and they can, with the policy, they can really change their production numbers. So these numbers can really significantly change later on. Okay, next we have African overview. Mr. Zahid there, please.
Thank you, Bangaji. First, I would like to thank you, IPGA, for this wonderful opportunity. And I also like to congratulate for this successful event organization. I would like to congratulate all team of IPGA. I'm going to represent Alpha Group, myself Jahid Nagarwala. And as Bangaji said, we are grassroots level processor and exporter from various countries of Africa, Mozambique, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Uganda. As well as past 16 to 17 years, we are doing the African operations. So I'm going to give you a little brief how the African green Moong grows in which areas and what is the production timings and datas. So mainly green Moong grows in east zone of Africa region. The most country is Mozambique, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Madagascar. If we talk about the share, if Africa total belongs near about 275 to 325,000 tons of green Moong to world market. The particular share, Mozambique, Tanzania, Ethiopia, they share near about 22 to 25% of total production. Kenya near 14 to 17%. Uganda and Madagascar shares near about 10 to 12% of total African green Moong production. If we could get quick outlook on Mozambique and Tanzania, Mozambique belongs near about 60 to 70,000 tons of total green Moong production. Crop starts in March to August. If we talk about quality, it's near about 3 to 3.2 mm in the size, unpolished and low germination rate, but very useful for the milling quality. And Mozambique is one of the cheapest and good quality green Moong in the world. Mainly it's trading in India and highly demand in the UAE market, also trading to Bangladesh and Nepal. There is some historical data. You can see that last 2021 it was a huge crop of about 110,000 tons. Last year it was near about 60,000 tons of production. Now Tanzania and Mozambique almost the similar quality of the Moong. Production data also quite similar, like 70 to 80,000 tons. Size also 3.2 mm, unpolished and milling quality. This year also we are expecting the crop of near about 60 to 70,000 tons on if the weather will support till the end. Yeah. Now, if we talk about Ethiopia, Ethiopia is little changer than other African origins. Ethiopia have a two crop. One crop start in the June to July and second in November, December onward. Ethiopia belongs near about 60 to 80,000 tons of production, and Ethiopia have a quality of 2.5 mm, natural polish, very high germination rate, near about 90 to 98%, which is I think the best in the world. And Ethiopian green Moong have a different demand from, especially from the Indonesia, China and Philippines because of the very high germination rate or sprouting rate. Currently Ethiopia trading near about 1150 to 1250 level, but last year once in time it was traded near about $1,800 level. That was a very remarkable things. Kenya also grow good green Moongs in Africa, but unfortunately due to the drought situations last 2 years the crop are very less there. Normally crop size there is 45,000 to 55,000 tons, but most of the green Moong they use for the local consumption and very few remain for the export. Last year near about 15 to 20,000 tons was exported from Kenya. Kenyan green Moongs, there is a two types of quality, nylon and bold quality, belongs near about 2.7 to 3.5 mm size, good germination rate, better than Tanzania and Mozambique. But unfortunately this year seems also poor crop because of drought situation. I don't think so it can have a much effect on India or world market. Uganda and Madagascar also a good producer of green Moong, producing near about 18 to 25,000 tons of green Moong. They also have two crops, one in the May, another starts in the November, December. Madagascar also follow the Tanzania and Mozambique from March to August. Uganda belongs near about 3 mm of unpolished quality. Madagascar have a two quality near about 3 mm and 3.5 mm and some of the below 3 mm. Madagascar, some of the area of the Madagascar also producing the yellow Moong beans, which is a few in the quantity. Both countries belongs maximum depends on India market. Ugandan green Moong, most of the time last year also it was diverted to Uganda, diverted to Kenya for the local consumption of Kenya. Now, if we talk about the market scenario of the green Moong, we all are aware about that African green Moong market depends on Indian import policy. Most of the African green Moongs are trading to India, except then Ethiopia. If we talk, Kenya, Uganda seems out of the race due to their local demands and job situations. Ethiopia also doesn't affect on India anything. Ethiopia, they have own quality and they have own demands toward China and Indonesia, and also it's highly expensive. So it doesn't affect much on Indian policy or Indian market or world market. Now, remaining things, Tanzania, Mozambique and Madagascar. Tanzania, Mozambique both are seated on new crops arrival. Next 3 to 4 months, Mozambique, Tanzania is going to produce near about 120 to 140,000 tons of green Moong. And if India is not opening the import for the green Moongs, there will be a huge pressure on local price in Tanzania, Mozambique, and we are expecting the very low price. When I was preparing the data last week, at the time Mozambique and Tanzania was trading near about $610, and in the next 3 to 4 days when I reached to Mumbai, that was already traded on 550 level, which we was expecting. And today is already, we heard that traded to 530, 540 level. And still, Mozambique arrival is not started. If Mozambique...
Let me flip the slide, otherwise the number might further change, you know, in case if I don't flip it up.
you keep trying to open the policy. And if once Mozambique arrival will start, it will create a big pressure, and we expecting maybe the price can touch 500 or 510 level. If Mozambique and Tanzania both peak arrival starts. That's it from my side.
Thank you,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, next is Mr. Marcelo from talking about the Latin America.
I appear a lot today, but I am Marcelo from Brazil. We are young in this market. We are learning about this market. You can see there that we begin in Brazil in 2017. This is recently, and arrived in 81,000 tons in 2021. In this year, we have the record, the export, the total beans that Brazil export, around 230 something thousand all beans during this year. In 2022, what happened? We saw the decision in India to block the import from other countries, and we, like other countries, stopped it, and we have this quantity less in 2022. Total exported per month, to have an idea, is during all the year, but the crop happened around May, finish April, May, part of June sometimes. Then, now is the better time to plant. But we heard Julio from Cooperaguas a few minutes ago telling about the situation there. We have delay in the soy crop, and we have delay to plant all beans on this time. And we don't know how will be the weather the next days, but this will influence to the area to less the area to this year in 2023. Who imported from Brazil, or who Brazil exported in 2022? Vietnam, Pakistan, India, Philippines. This was the most important in volume. And the strategy that we have is try put the green mung beans and other beans in more countries to know what we can do, what we can produce, and test what is the reaction in each country that we can work and offer on beans and green mung beans too. To talk about something about the South America, the most important countries that can export in South America is Brazil, Argentina, and Venezuela. Argentina is old in this market. I believe was the first in South America that export. More recently, Brazil and Venezuela, and a small quantity appear now recently Peru, some export during 2022 that we get some numbers about this. Here we have an idea what happened with Brazil and Argentina in 2002. All people know what happened, and the reason is the same reason. India stopped import, and these countries, Brazil, Venezuela, have some stocks. Argentina have some stocks too from 2022. And this is the reason to plant less. Venezuela, around 30–40% less, the area. Brazil, more than 50% less area. And the reasons is without the possibility to export to India, some troubles with the weather, and other possibilities there. Julio told something about it's possible plant in this same area Brawai beans. In Brawai beans, we have both market, domestic market and market to export. One thing important, Brazil don't have any consume. It's only some descendants from Japanese or Chinese have a small quantity, the consume. Then it's short that we can show for you on this time, because from Latin America we have some stocks, poor stocks, but there is, and less area. When you look to the total area that is possible plant in Brazil. This is the situation now in 2023.
Thank you, Marcelo. Now we move to Akhil about Indian scenario, which is very important and crucial at the moment. So let's move on.
Hello everyone, I am Akhil Goyal from GPA Foods. Mung beans is one of the major legume crop in India. It is sown in around 5 million hectares and production is around 2.5 to 3 million tons. Mung beans are cultivated in 3 different seasons here, in Kharif, Rabi and summers. Growth production in India it takes 90 days in India to get it harvest, and it's a widespread production in 9 states in India. So mung beans are available throughout the year in India in one of the other states. Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra are the major producing states in India. Mung beans are the major source of protein in India for the vegetarian diet, used in form of curries, snacks and sweets. Apart from production, demand, supply, Indian government support price MSP, procurement and import policies from Indian government makes a major role in fixing the prices and the Indian markets and worldwide. The major factors that determines the price in India are mung beans production, minimum support price fixed by government, NAFED and other agencies, procurement, exports, imports, and current balance stocks, government selling price and market price, and government policies. There has been considerable change in mung beans production if we compare the decade. Production used to be around 2 million tons till 2017-18. At the same time, MSP was around 5575 Indian rupees. In 2017-18, India restricted the imports for mung beans. And at the same time, Indian government increased the MSP for the preceding year by 25%. This led to the change in production of mung beans. Since then, India are producing around about 3 million tons every year. Prior to 2017, Indian government used to have a very negligible quantity of mung beans they used to procure. So there was no as much effect of government procurement in the markets of India. Since 2017, government is buying in huge quantities. So pattern and aggression of government is playing a vital role in Indian market. Government are not only buying the huge quantities to support farmers, but also have brought stability in market by releasing buffer stocks at the time of the market when prices go high. In 2021, opening stocks were very marginal to around 200,000 tons. And the stocks for government were also negligible. So in 2021-22, government lifted the ban on imports and built up stock for next 2 years. The production was also good, so balance stock last year rose to 8.5 thousand tons despite ban of imports. So as on today, government is holding around 500,000 tons of mung beans, and overall stocks in India are plenty, I guess. So this is a timeline of Indian government policies to mung beans since 2017. So it was restricted in 2017. In 18, restriction was continued. 7 days after the continued that we got it, it was a quota of 1.5 lakh tons that Indian government. So it was then for next 3 years, the same 1.5 lakh ton quota was provided by Indian government. But in 2021, when the Indian provided the quota for 1.5 lakh tons, it was not awarded, and restriction was again set free till October 2021. December, then the restriction was free till March 2022. But on February last year, it was suddenly overnight decision taken by Indian government to restrict it again. So overall, our government are taking all the steps to support farmers. The intent is good. They need to stabilize prices in India. But the overnight and the frequent change in import policy are actually hampering Indian markets and also the world markets. So it should implement a long-term policy so that everyone in India and worldwide have a smooth functioning. They can actually predict what to sow and when to sow. Overall, if I summarize, overall acreage in India and production estimates are promising. Government is supporting to grow more. So the major cause of concern that I feel is price rise expected in other major pulses in India, chana and tuar. The other thing is high price of bold variety of mung beans used in snacking industries. Extreme and harsh summers and deficit monsoons, the effect of El Nino that we all know. So in my opinion, our government should reconsider their decision on mung imports. It should consider concern raised and act on time rather than taking any last minute decisions. It's better to open a window for 1 or 2 months until the new crop for MP comes.
Thank you, Akhil. We will now quickly take some question from my side. For Mr. Zaid. There was imports of Mozambique green mung under ICM regime. from Mozambique, you know. So it is, so now that has been already, this, what do you talk about this? You know, what do you say about it? It's been discontinued.
Well, in before 2021, Mozambique green mung was allowed under ICM quota as per Government of Indian GR. It was showing Mozambique pigeon peas and other pulses are allowed, free import allowed. But in 2022, after the revised GR by Indian government, it is mentioned to import only pigeon peas. So on that case, green mung is not being eligible for free imports. We already raised this concern to our Mozambican piloting agency, ICM. We already requested them, and they are already talking with their counterpart in India. And we are waiting for that some news from them. Till now there is no positive news, but we are hoping.
And if India continues to ban the imports, and as we see the prices are falling down every day, or every minute rather, so what do you think the impact or the mood of the farmers, local farmers in Africa is going to be next year? Because for them, India is a major market. What do you see that?
Well, most of the African country, most of the farmers, they are growing green mung for us, for Indian market. Honestly, they don't eat the green mungs. They grow for us. So in this case, India continue the ban, they don't import. African farmers, they are not getting a good price. I have seen by my own eyes in African villages, the farmers are really disappointed with this very lower price, and gradually they are avoiding to grow the green mungs. And definitely this is, and at same particular time from the January, February, they don't have other crop to grow. So they are growing, but they are not getting the good price. So really, it's a, for African farmer, it's a really bad things.
Yeah. Same question from Mr. Marcelo, because India is the major factor for South American, Latin American green mung beans destination. What do you think that anything getting moved to China? There was some issues. So what would like to update for the China situation? And secondly, to further follow, if it doesn't work out, is there any possibility to really encourage the local people in your countries to start consuming green mung beans? Because your countries have some habit of, they know about beans, other beans, black beans, other beans. So as an institution, maybe you would like to put forward your efforts to in this direction to generate interest in having the green mung beans consumption locally. It's possible.
About the consumption in domestic market, I believe it's possible to develop something, but we need a lot of time to have one big market there. 3 million tons we consume in 60-70% is carioca beans, and something in cowpea beans, black beans, and other varieties. But it's possible. I believe when somebody try and feeling the taste, like, and learn about how cook, the time to cook is very, very fast. This is interesting, and maybe it's possible develop, of course. About China, we have one surprise. Final last year, we asked through the Agriculture Ministry to try one agreement in phytosanitary in mung beans to China. And we had the return not only to mung beans, but to all pulses that is possible produce there. China have a good relation with Brazil, import a lot of soy and meat and other foods too. And during this year, I believe we will develop this agreement, because you have documents, send the documents, and attend the protocol, return some doubts. And after this, I believe it's possible develop there for 2024, maybe.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Anant, unlike Latin America, Myanmar has another option to export for China, But do you think even China has got erratic policies? We have seen that they close the border, then they start all of a sudden. So do you think this scenario is going to continue? Number one. And number two, again, what is going to be the mood of the farmers? And where do you see the prices of green mung beans from the current level?
China has an inconsistent policy, but in the recent past, and the main reason for that was COVID impact. So because of COVID, they had a zero tolerance policy, and they didn't want even the borders to work to control COVID spread. Recently they have opened, and once the China border has opened, there is a tremendous buying from Myanmar, because the Chinese traders, they just cross over the border, they come and sit in the cities, and they keep buying from the farmlands. So with this procedure, the prices in the local market, they go up very sharply. This has happened in the past. In the recent past, we have seen the prices jumping from $700 to $900 and $950 for Bagosheva Moong, which is in the market. So a $250 jump in just 15 to 20 days time we have seen. So that's how the big impact on the prices is from Chinese buying. And considering about that whether it will go on, once the borders are opened by China, I think they are in requirement of importing food grains, including green mung beans, and the border with Myanmar, it works as a very good source of supply to China. So obviously, they will consider to fulfill the demand of food grains in their country. They will consider to keep this border open.
Thank you. Now, last question is to Zahid Bhai, very significant. You told the prices can go further down from 560 to 530 as we speak just now. So what is going to be there after 1 hour? After 1 hour, what price do you see?
It's difficult to say, but I think 500, 510, I think the lowest level, because if it touch 500, 510, there is other market will be going to be open. So I don't think so.
Thank you.
Below
Thank you.
5.
Thank you so much. And I don't see any questions coming from the audience. For maybe Mr. Chandrasekhar is.
I have an observation to make.
Yes.
Two things. I would support any initiative of the government of India to boost Moong production. Number one, because Moong is a wonderful pulse, and with Moong you can do what is called single pot cooking. You put rice and Moong, and what do you get? Khichdi. Therefore, you even save energy. Okay, and therefore, we need to boost Moong production and Moong consumption. First point. Second point, I have found there are large quality variations in Moong. The top quality Moong fetches a premium. But there is also Moong available below the fair average quality, which sells much below the minimum support price. I don't know what the real issue is. Can we try and lift the quality of the less than fair average quality to at least FAQ, so that farmers are able to get better price? These are two suggestions. I don't know if anybody from the government is here, but I think this is something we need to work. Yeah. Please.
Thank you so much. So you have raised a very right question, because here Government of India has one program, National Food Security Mission program for pulses. There is an exclusive program. So in that program, Moong bean, because it's a short duration crop, 60 days it matures. Even today, these days we have varieties which mature in 55 days. So in between two seasons, so as a summer crop, we need to promote it, and we are promoting. A special program has been started, summer season promotion of the crops, जिससे कि उनका जो मैं कहूँगा cropping intensity that is required to be increased. तो cropping intensity बढ़ेगी, and then in between the two seasons, harvesting of the kharif crop, in between Rabi and kharif, we have 70 days in some belts. So this, then second one is targeting rice fallow area program has been started. in the eastern region, seven states have been identified for that one. And here 11 million hectare area is there, which is required to be utilized. So Moong is being promoted through that. Third one is intercropping system, through intercropping system. So these are the three interventions which have been already identified. And when we prepared the roadmap for bringing self-sufficiency for pulses in the country, I was the part of it. And in the year 2015, we made the roadmap and we proposed all these interventions into it. So it is there, provision is there.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an wonderful reason behind what all going on. I'm sure our overseas friends, you can see that the Indian government is also working as hard for their farmers. So there could be a disheartening thought about their countries, respective countries, farmers getting hit. But at the same time, you must appreciate, every country has to really protect their farmers, and Indian government is doing wonderful job. We can see the imports into India getting down from 6 million tons to close to 2.5, around that level. So I think going forward, we may see the imports getting down, but let's see. This is a wonderful job for the farmers.
Overseas suppliers need to feel disheartened. Our production will grow as Dr. Sahab said, but our consumption also will grow. And actually it has to be boosted. We need to boost our consumption.
Okay. So,
Regarding the rate difference that you were talking about in two varieties, the main issue is the particle size. The Rajasthan and the Haryana one is of a bolder size, so it fetches good rates. Right now it's fetching more than MSP, but the other varieties of MP or Odisha are really smaller in size. So this is the reason why the prices are less of those varieties.
thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for wonderful panel discussions made by our fellow colleagues. Thank you, dear.
Thank you, Mr. Bangar. Wonderful moderation as usual. May I please request from the committee, Mr. Jitu Beda or whoever. Quickly, sir. This is the last session. तो आप Mr. Pradeep Jindal, sir, आप आइए. आखिरी session है तो
We would like to request that forget the supplier of Africa. We should think about the African farmer also. Yeah, because since long year, African farmers are growing green mung for India market. Semi said that they don't eat the green mungs, except in Ethiopia. No any countries are consuming the green mung. They're growing for us. If we are not allowing or we are avoiding, so their situation are getting very, very rough. So we should think about the African farmer also.
Point taken, Mr. Nagrawala. So may I please request Pradeep ji RA or Satish ji be RA. So please step right up. First memento will go to our moderator, Mr. Lalit Bangar. Can we have the mementos up very quickly? Can we have the plaques, please? Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final panel. After this, we just have the derivatives session, which will be just about 15 minutes. First, Lalit Bangar ko. Moving on, the next one is for Marcello Luders. Since we start on the right hand side, we'll move in the same direction. The next one goes to Mr. Jahid Nagarwala. We'll now move to the other side of the stage, and the next memento is to Mr. Akhil Goyal of AgroPure Group. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again to remind you that the proceedings will be available for you on the website Monday end of day. And ladies and gentlemen, the final memento in this panel and of course this conclave goes to Anand Chajed of Swiss Singapore Overseas. May I request the panel to please give us a memento photograph?